The following is our time management module in the Evolve program. We begin in a rather strange place, and that is with the recognition that there's really no such thing as managing time. Time is a human construct. We have a past that lives in our memory, a future that lives in our imagination, and really the only thing we can manage at all is ourselves in this moment. Time management is really managing ourselves in the present moment, doing what we can right now to create the best possible outcome. And that requires mostly focus. So this module is about focusing on our activities in this moment to create that better outcome. We break it down into three areas: go, flow, and know. Go is initiating inspired action. Flow is remaining there, remaining focused. And know is knowing what not to do. So we're going to go through these one at a time. Begin with, do you have a system? I gave each of anybody who was interested, gave them a new planner, because to have your computer be your only source for organizing your work, your life, that means every time you go out on the floor or walk in your workplace, you don't have a place to scribble things down that you know you're going to keep. So they got to choose. Some people carry around spiral notebooks, and I suggested they might try a little pocket size. Anyway, they most did. Go. Initiating inspired action. Mark Twain wrote, eat a live frog first thing in the morning and nothing worse will happen to you all day. So time management experts have kind of taken a hold of this and talked about the idea of, if you have a live frog you have to eat every day, do it first thing in the morning, get it over with, and then your day will soar from there. One of the homework assignments, there were two that they could choose from. This is the first. Most people, I think, are doing both, but they could choose the frog, which is every day write down on the scorecard, what is your frog for today? And you write that down before you begin your work and see if you can knock that thing out as early in the day as possible. Another way to consider inspired activity is the big rocks first. There's a demonstration that if you have a bunch of gravel, sand, and big rocks, if you put in the sand and the gravel first, then there's no room left for the big rocks. But if you put in the big rocks first, then you can put in all of the sand and all of the gravel, and it all fits in because you put the big rocks in first. So this is sort of the same idea as the live frog, but it's not necessarily the yucky thing or the thing you're trying to procrastinate. Maybe your big rock is your family, and that really you need to plan that time first, put that first in your schedule so that other things can plan around it. And then we looked at the golden hours. And for this, we use, well, Covey made it popular, but it's the Eisenhower Matrix. Looking at the top two quadrants are things that are important. That means things that long-term actually have real value to you personally and professionally. And the bottom are things that aren't important. And then we look at urgent up and down. So the things that are important to you long-term, things you truly care about or that are critical to your business, your professional success or personal success, those are the important things. And the urgent things are stuff that's on fire. So we spend a lot of our time doing things that are both urgent and important. That's necessity calls us to keep taking action to do something that is important, and stuff's on fire. Then there are things that are urgent but not really important to you. And why would you be doing those things? Well, we kind of allow things to jump to the top of our to-do list that aren't really important to us personally or professionally, but somehow we sort of get spirited away. So for the image there is that of just the squirrel running around. And for me, it's the next shiny thing. Maybe it's not actually that important in my life, but I allow it to jump in priority, and then I'm spending time doing it. Then there's just the garbage things, stuff that's not important long-term, not urgent. It's time wasters. For everybody, it's different. For some people, surfing the web or watching TV or video games, that is garbage time. For others of us, that is restorative and is important, actually. Now we'll look at the things that are important and not yet urgent. That means long term they matter to you, but they're not on fire yet. And if you do it now, maybe they never will be on fire. So those are the golden hours. That's really where we try to stay, try to manage ourselves so that we are doing more things before they become urgent. If we don't invest our time and energy up front in the things that are important to us, they can later become fires. That's personally and professionally. So part of what goes in here is, again, the things that really matter to us, like our family, like our health, like exercise, like at work it would be planning, strategy, training, all those things that are forward looking, investing in the future. So we try to move over as many things as we can from the stuff that's on fire into those golden hours. And we talked for each of us what sits in each of those quadrants. So that's go, initiating inspired action. And now flow. We each have different styles when it comes to focus and staying focused. Some people are in the weeds and waste time and energy because they get too far in the weeds. Other people, those are hyper-focused people. So other people are big picture and maybe don't get down in the weeds enough to be effective and efficient. So we sort of need to know where our pitfalls are. And then there's the perfectionist, too much time making it perfect, um, beyond what is necessary for a job well done. Impulsive, some people just jump to the next thing. And then cliffhanger, some people are really motivated by a looming deadline, a close looming deadline. We talked about how different activities in our lives, perhaps even the same person can have a different style from time to time, and where these help us to be more effective in the future and where they undercut our success. And then flow has a lot to do with minimizing distractions. You know, it's a topic people hit all the time about avoiding multitasking. Still people do it, still we do it. We have the gut feeling that we actually are getting more done when the science would tell us otherwise. We talked about the importance of turning off notifications on our phone, on our computer, so that at least they don't have to interrupt us in the course of, every 10 minutes at work. And then blocking our time. For people for whom their boss, their coworkers can schedule their time without asking permission, that's all the more important to block your time. If you have a project that you know is going to require attention, then get to it and put it on your calendar ahead of time, and you might let those folks around you know that you'll need to block that time to get that project completed. Planning breaks. Again, it doesn't feel like we're more productive, but the science tells us that when we step away from our work, we are more effective, more efficient, more productive. And when it comes to managing, it's not just stepping away, it's walking to your workplace, to the job site, to be with the people who report to you. So if you can plan breaks regularly, and make sure those are walking breaks, not just out to your car, but through your job site area. That's a twofer. And then there's no, the things we shouldn't be doing at all. These are activities that drain your battery, other people's emergencies, back to the squirrel, right? And then workarounds or other debt creating activities. We talked a lot about this, and they had great examples of ways that you can do something quickly, down and dirty right now, but actually creates a time debt in the future. And sometimes we're able to delegate tasks that drain our battery. So there you have it, go, flow, and know. So they had two options for homework. For those who have a physical job site, the homework was to make certain that they take a walk through their work area, through their job site or the shop floor or wherever it is that they have direct reports, to do that at the beginning and end of every shift. For people who don't have a physical job site, they were asked to identify the frog every morning, and then before your work starts, and then check off, did they or did they not do it early in the day. Many people decided to do both. And there you have it. Teamwork's approach to time management.